And so then when you're out in the real world and something bad is happening, you don't react because you've trained yourself not to react. The other thing, you're reacting to things and not even knowing really why you're reacting to them. And there's a business out there that knows this to a T. It's the advertising industry. They know that if they can get us to react based upon our feelings. You see, remember how the definition of hypnosis, right? They're attaching emotions to their product. That's what the advertising industry does. And so then you're out there in the real world and you see an icon or this or that, and if you've seen that enough times, you're going to react. They know that. They've spent millions and they make billions. The numbers are staggering, what the advertising industry spends and then what they get in return. And this is one of the most studied areas in science. In the last decade, there's been over 3,000 scientific studies. 500 books have been written on the effects of television and the brain. But we're not going to hear about it on TV. You're going to have to look and you're going to have to dig. Don't just take my word for it. Study these things for yourself. Just type in to the internet, what are the effects of television on the brain? And you'll get a bunch of stuff that comes out. Find some of these books. You know, Neil Nedley's book is a great one. Okay, I'm going to show you this clip here where we put together a bunch of different ads where they're kind of laughing in our face that they're using hypnosis and subliminal advertising to sell you products.
Welcome to subliminal advertising. Don't worry, it will only affect your brain.
In 5 seconds, your eyes widen to capture the rush of color. In 12 seconds, you begin to see detail within the details. In 23 seconds, your brain begins to question what is real. Regza LCD TV in 1080p Full HD from Toshiba. Experience it for yourself, and in 29 seconds or less, you'll see why Regza is the one to watch.
Okay.
A big bacon cheeseburger made fresh.
Right, but a talking gecko. Why?
I'll tell you why. Because people trust advertising icons. Some bloke tells you to go to geico.com and you're like, really? And just who might you be? But a gecko, he can be trusted.
Hey, have you heard about the crazy new way to send a message today? It's flashed on a screen, too quick to see, but still you get it subliminally.
Subliminal advertising complete.
Notice how at the end of commercials there's always that ding, you're free to move about the country. It's always the same. It's a repetitious thing that's always in your mind, that these catchphrases and things that they attach to their products. In 23 seconds, your brain begins to question what is real. You know? Why do we sit there and watch these things? Why is it so alluring to sit there and go, oh man, I'm in space with Captain Kirk? Are you really in space with Captain Kirk? No, the sets and the things, there's somebody behind a door opening and closing that electric door that they have. It's so fake, it's crazy that we believe these things. You know, even though we know it's fake, we sit there and we watch it. Here's a simple example of how layered these things can be and you don't even realize it. Everybody's heard that sex sells. Here's an advertisement, let's say, that is blaring sex at you. Can you see it? Can you see what's sexual about this picture? Once I show you, you'll never not see it. It's the word sex written right there in the plants. And when I take it away, you're always going to see it. And every time you see this picture from now on, you're always going to see it. So there's things that we don't see. It's so layered and so complex, it's really hard to decipher through the information that's coming at you in terms of what they're doing in advertisement. You know, I've seen examples of this in Walt Disney movies where in the cloud the word sex is written. Phallic symbols in buildings and this and that, things that you just don't catch, but somehow our minds are picking that up because they're attaching the emotion of sex to their product, because we all equate sex with pleasure. And so they know that if they can get us to react based upon our feelings and make decisions based upon our feelings, they can sell us anything. Because you're not making decisions based upon principle, you're making decisions based upon feeling. It's all about feelings. It's a feeling-based system. Here's a 1980s campaign for Pepsi. There's sex written on the side of the cans when they're stacked up. And it was in the 70s that they said subliminal advertising, this is illegal, but there's no way to regulate this. It's layered. It's beyond what we can comprehend. Here's the facts. 99% of every household owns a television. Is there anybody in here that does not own a television? Amen. There's a few. Right on. All right? The average hours watched are about 6 hours, 47 minutes a day. And this is on the low end of the averages. We found averages even higher than this. Let's start adding these numbers up. 47 hours, 48 minutes a week. 2 solid months a year. By the time you're 65 years old, if you keep this rate up, you'll have watched 9 solid years of television. That's not 9 years, 8 to 5. That's 9 solid years. And people talk about not having enough time. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to read the Bible or to pray. Here's 9 solid years. Imagine what we could do with that extra time if we put this down. When I started working in television about 7 years ago, I don't know why, but for some reason, my wife and I, we put the TV away. She had a little television, and we actually gave it to a friend, and we no longer had a television. And it was amazing. I just stopped watching television. All of a sudden, I had all this time to do other things, and I thought about this many times after. Man, I have no time to watch television. I've got all these other things to do. So, I don't know. But I was still heavily addicted to movies. And it wasn't until I really started coming back to the truth and to church and saw Ivor Myers out of the black hole, or escape from the black hole, that I really realized, man, I need to put this down, and I need to put it down completely. And you know the story of Gideon, when he went to fight the enemy, the first thing that God asked him to do was what? Tear down the idol that your father set up. Tear down the idol. Now you can attack your enemy. There were so many things in my life that I was still grappling with that I wasn't able to see, and I wasn't able to fight with until I set this idol down. And when I set the idol down, then all of a sudden, I started praying, and I said, Lord, please show me, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to know? And let me just say, when you start praying prayers like that, when you start asking God, what do you want me to do? Be prepared to be answered. Because he will. He'll answer. And all of a sudden, all this information started coming into us. Someone up in our hometown asked us, hey, why don't you guys come up and talk to these kids at a youth rally about Hollywood? We didn't put this together because we wanted to. We were asked to do this. And all these things just came to us. And by no means is this something that we put, all this information, none of this is new light. It's all out there. And we just have compiled it into this presentation format. Again, to talk about how advertising works, so the most advertised product on TV, what do you think it is? And not just one product, kind of think of a genre of products. Fast food. Fast food is the most advertised product on television. It incorporates everything from soft drinks to candy bars to all our fast food restaurants. And look at what our country is suffering from. Obesity. Almost at the rate of 60%. It's an epidemic. I remember Scott telling me, when he used to watch television a lot, those commercials for the new sandwich at Jack in the Box or whatever, it would just get to him. And then before you know it, he said he'd be in the car and he'd be driving down to Jack in the Box to get the new sandwich. So for some of us, it doesn't work that way, but some of us it does. Little children